Today's video is a very debatable topic. Everybody's talking about it. Who's a better 3-star monster? Is it the damage dealer from the Holy Trinity Fire Fairy ISELIA? Or is there a new Holy Trinity? Can Fire Frankenstein Bulldozer replace Fire Fairy and the all-forsaken Holy Trinity? We're about to find out. If you like this video and like all my content, hit the sub button, hit the like button, hit that bell dingy dingy thing so you know when I post a video. Let's go, baby. Alright, the famous Holy Trinity, right? The 3 monsters that can get you through the whole story without having to build any 4-star, 5-star monsters. And you can even do Foggy Prison with these 3. And that's Water Garuda, Wind Pixie, and Fire Fairy ISELIA. You need all these 3 monsters anyway to get the monster story Dark Heart Magician 5-star. So they definitely should be built. However, due to the rise of probably my mistake of showing everyone Fire Frankenstein, everyone is building him. So people are now wondering who's better, Fire Fairy or Fire Frankenstein. Really, it depends on the content. But today we're going to do a damage test. Who's better on Soul Link, who's better non-Soul Link. So Fire Fairy is maxed awake and max skill level 70. Fire Frankenstein is also max awake and max skill level 70. These aren't like OP runes or anything like that, so they're highly obtainable. Fire Fairy 3200 attack, 99.6% crit, 178.6% crit damage. Bulldozer has 3122 defense, 93.1% crit, and 165% crit damage. What we're going to do today is test them both in Naraka. I'm going to go in by myself, bring in Konami and Shannon. I'm going to test both of the damage dealers on Soul Link and off of Soul Link, just to see what kind of damage can be put up between the two. I'm bringing Orbia for the defense break and the damage taken up. And you got to think too, if you're a different main summoner, Cleef brings defense buff, which would help Bulldozer. Kina brings an attack buff, which would help ISELIA. Kina also has skill cooldown reduction, which is nice for all your monsters. So each summoner has its own benefits. There's a lot of variables, so I'm going to test everything that I can. First, we're going to start out with Bulldozer as a Soul Link. I'm going to damage the dragon until the first dragon's roar and see where the damage is at. Now obviously with Bulldozer in PvE, single target, you only want to use his second skill, which is the ignore defense. So I'm going to turn off his first skill, put the mana down to 2. Alright, let's see what we got going on here. Let's just dash in, get some defense break, get some of that. There we go. And we're just gonna watch and see what they all do here. Hopefully I don't get any damage over times on me, so they take a lot of damage. I'm gonna try to just move out of fires as much as possible and just do as much damage as I can. Let's see what we got going on here. So Bulldozer's definitely putting in some work already, which is nice. On Soul Link, spamming that second skill, it's just a lot of damage. I mean, Bulldozer is a beast. We already know that. So let's just get to this first Dragon's Roar. All right, there it is. All right, so we got 621,000 from Bulldozer. All right, so we're going to put ISELIA in now. And because Bulldozer's skill is a 3 mana cost, ISELIA's second skill is 4 mana, which has a 640% damage modifier. Her first skill is the 3 mana cost, which has 600.8% damage modifier. I'm going to spam this skill because it's 3 mana cost. Quick comparison to Bulldozer's second skill. He has a lot higher damage modifiers, and he ignores 60% of the enemy's defense. So I assume that Fire Frankenstein is probably better on Soul Link, but we're just going to have to test that out, right? One thing to note is his basic attack is not based off of defense. So you build him for defense, so he's going to have a lot lower attack power. However, Fire ISELIA's basic attack is based off attack, and that's how you build it, focusing on attack. But let's just see what we're going to do here. Alright, for Fire ISELIA, I'm just turning on her first skill, 2 mana minimum, and we're just going to go in and see what we can go ahead and do here. Let's just do all this, get the defense break, and then go to town. Let's move out of that. There we go. Okay, she's feared again. All right, let's go. And then let's just do some damage. Let's see what we got going on here. And kind of what I expected is that Fire ISELIA is not putting up the kind of damage that Fire Frankenstein does in PvE. And you got to think too, Fire Frankenstein is tankier and he's a front line for your Orbia, which is nice. I mean, you have Konami and Tion, right? You know, it's Konami and Tion's the same thing. I'm using Tion because I don't have Konami anymore. But I mean, you can see the difference here in Soul Link wise. Is that Fire ISELIA is nothing compared to Bulldozer. So it's kind of interesting. I know Fire ISELIA is the end all be all, and she does remove defense buff, which makes her really good. She removes attack buff, which is really good, and replaces those things with attack down, and you know, whatever the case may be, right? But as you can see, I mean, it's a big difference here compared to damage. So 281,000 compared to Fire Frank, which is pretty crazy. All right, let's test these units off of Soul Link. We'll start with Fire Fairy this time. All right, let's back out. ISELIA did 282,000. That's with me spamming Konamiya Tion skill cooldown. All right, now let's put in Bulldozer and see what the difference is here. Now, you would think that ISELIA does more damage as a non-Soul Link because of her basic attack, but we're just going to have to find that out with true facts. All right, let's just kind of speed up the process here so I have a clean, I'm just going to make sure I get a clean run and just see the difference. And honestly, I already see the difference here. I see Bulldozer just tearing up ISELIA. Like, I don't even have to end this. Like, I don't even have to go all the way on this because I already see a huge difference compared to Bulldozer and Fire Fairy. And then that's just with spamming Konamiya's skill cooldown, right? It's a huge comparison. And honestly, I think I've already came to a conclusion of who's better. And I think there's a new Holy Trinity. 449,000. Now, there's one thing that I think we're all forgetting here, though, is what ISELIA can do. She hits multiple enemies on her first skill. She also hits multiple enemies on her second skill. So very good AoE damage. She's not your single target kind of damage dealer. She also has a 60% chance to remove the defense buff from the enemy and apply a burn. And if they have a burn, she has a defense break. She also has a 100% chance to remove attack up and apply attack down. Those are things that Bulldozer does not have. Now, however, with Bulldozer, you don't technically need a defense break. It's definitely nice to have because Bulldozer only ignores 60% defense. Be patient. Bulldozer can hit multiple enemies and can stun them. So he has the AoE capability, but also has the single target capability. Fire Fairy does not have single target capability. However, Shannon has defense break and attack down as well to cover Bulldozer for lacking for what ISELIA does. However, ISELIA brings more of that, which would stack with Shannon. Shannon's buffs helps both Bulldozer and ISELIA, but more towards Bulldozer because both of his skills scale off of a defense and attack, where Fire Fairy's damage only is based off of attack. The defense does help survivability. Fire Fairy is ranged, Bulldozer is melee. So do we have a conclusion here? Is there a true Holy Trinity? Technically yes and no. I think the Holy Trinity changes with who you choose as your main summoner. We have Orbia. Orbia has AoE and splash damage. So you don't necessarily need an AoE type of damage monster. So in my opinion, for Orbia, the Holy Trinity is Water or Light Garuda, Wind Pixie, and Fire Frankenstein. Now, Cleef, on the other hand, Cleef really needs AoE damage. He also needs defense break. He also needs buff strips. So if you're maining Cleef, Water or Light Garuda, Wind Pixie, and Fire Fairy is your Holy Trinity. If you're maining Kina, here's the kicker. her fire hammer is practically a Garuda. So in my opinion, if you're maining Kina, your holy trinity is Wind Pixie, Fire Fairy. Surprise, you thought I was going to say a Garuda or Bulldozer, didn't you? Yeah, that'd be great. You can use them too. But I suggest Water Frankenstein Tractor. The reason I say that for Kina, you need a front line. Kina, Fire, ISELIA, and Shannon are sitting in the back doing their thing. Tractor is your best 3-star frontline tank for Kina. He is immune from defense down, and he also applies defense down to the enemies when he's attacked. He has an AoE stun based off of defense and attack. You build him with as much defense as possible and he's not getting defense broken. He also has an AoE provoke, which will help protect your back line. You can also use him when you finally get the Boiling Waterfall Naraka during the Bremis phase for the ads. And that's it for today's video. These, in my opinion, are the holy trinities for each summoner. I think the Water Garuda, Wind Pixie, Fire Fairy, Holy Trinity is situational between the three. And regarding the debate between who's better than Fire Fairy, Fire Frankenstein, I still think Fire Frankenstein Bulldozer is better because you can bring more monsters to the table that power creeps Fire Fairy in regarding to damage and utility. If you like all my videos, sub, like, ding ding bell. I'll see you in the next one. Peace!